how can we use technology to expand our real world? We can be wizards or we can be robots. Do we want to use technology to keep optimizing us, or do we want to create technology and use technology in ways that allow us to be even more human and even more present and explore our world further? BRDG, or as it's pronounced, bridge, we bridge the physical and the digital world.
So this is like a physical manifestation of a digital idea. My name is Hannah Schmitz. I'm a digital producer at Bridge Studios.
We build creative, interactive tech installations, and we build the environments in which they're contained to create one sort of fluid experience. So we do everything from fabrication, industrial design, creative tech, and we do it all in-house. So I like to think of us as like like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, where people will come to us with dreams and we will make whatever it is happen. My name is Chris Hall. I am the Director of Creative Technology at Bridge Studios. I've known about ARTECHOUSE for a while, probably since its opening. Just being in the creative tech world, it's a big deal that it exists. Seeing a space that was dedicated to like high-end creative tech, like future forward interactive art at like just such a high level, it was thrilling. It was like, this is a environment and a platform for artists to be able to show their work at like the highest level for the art's sake. It is there to be a real showcase of this future realm, like this creative tech realm. And so when I was walking through the exhibits and playing with everything, I was like, my dream is to be able to have a piece at ARTECHOUSE, to be able to exhibit work at ARTECHOUSE. And so when Simon first hit me up with this, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It was a dream come true. And I mean that in a very literal sense.
This robot, I know they've had the robot since before I even started working there. These robots are traditionally for assembly lines. They're called cobots because they're supposed to work next to people, like sort of like a coworker. They kind of just do like mechanical things like picking something up and putting it down on a conveyor belt, traditionally like in a warehouse environment. But pretty much any file type or instruction that you send to it, you get pretty creative with how you program them. They can do pretty much anything.
So what we had to do was come up with a process for being able to take these artworks and get it to the robot in a way that it can understand like how it's supposed to move for it. We take the artworks that were AI generated, we convert them into vectors, and then we convert the vectors into what's called G code, very literal like points that it needs to go to that are in like real world measurements. The robot, if you're telling it to go 2 inches to the right, 2 inches up, it has like an entire arm's worth of like muscles that it needs to figure out how to move that 1.2 inches over and 2 inches up. It's not just like this. It's like if I move here, I'm moving my wrist a little bit to keep it still. I'm moving my shoulder, I'm moving my elbow to like do these things. Our computer sends the robot like, hey, this is the G code we want to do. The computer that controls the robot has to solve all of this math problems to do what's called the inverse kinematics for the robot joints to keep that pen moving where it's moving and draw it out. And that takes like, you know, a few little like points that it would draw and turns it into this giant like a bunch of different like paths and positions that it needs to move to get there. And what I find interesting about this robot and AI pairing is it forces this infinite to slow down. It becomes these like curated images, and not only is it like, I think this one looks cool, it becomes, this robot is going to take a few hours to draw out this image, and we're going to sit here with this one picture, and we're going to like consider that it didn't exist, that it came out of this technology process, but it also makes like, it makes this physical real it literally like creates and makes this physical real piece of art that there was a process behind it. We got to witness the process. it wasn't this black box of made up ideas, that it's taking it from that. It is the source. It's the same thing, but because we're giving it a process, we're slowing down the pace to something that we can see and appreciate. You start to bridge the gap between like, is this image a piece of art, into like, wow, this drawing was done, was drawn, was almost performed.